Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Experience, the Targeted Individual Program. Here I am again with another video. It's been another week or two, and just uh, updating and reporting on my targeting as I do as usual, and to show those who want to understand what we as the targeted individual community go through on a daily basis due to the psychological uh, harassment, the psychological conditioning that was done to our mind, the brainwashing, and the use of the energy weapon, as well as being illegally microchip for the purpose of remote monitoring. Um, as you can see here in the background, I have an article open, and it says doctors and cops amount 277 arrested in human trafficking online prostitution sting in Florida. And the reason why I show articles like this because there are people out there when we as TI talk about being harassed by the police. Uh, we're always told, um, well, for what reason uh, would the police harass you? Or sometimes they don't just believe us and they'll say, hey, it's just in your mind, right? They try to sidestep the discussion because people think that the majority of cops are really good people. And when we talk about, you know, going into certain institutions like the hospital and stuff like that, and we talk about doctors and nurses participating in our targeting, again, people tend to doubt us and don't want to believe us. So when articles like this appear, I think it's important that we share it and we share it to as many people as possible to let them know that just because someone is a doctor or a nurse or a police officer does not mean that they don't commit criminal acts, despite what you've been conditioned and taught to believe, right? So this happened in Florida, and this is from 2017, and there's many articles which police officers, doctors again, uh, have participated in criminal activity. And the reason why I say it is because as a victim of non-consensual human experimentation, uh, doctors are involved in our targeting. They will hide uh, information in terms of the psychological, physical, and biological damage that has been done to us to deny us proof and evidence of the damage that was done and that had occurred. And so we have to let or get the general public um, to wake up from that heavy dose of cognitive dissonance, all right, and make them understand. And even though a lot of the civilian perpetrators out there are involved in our targeting, um, also know that a lot of these people are being manipulated also. They're being brainwashed also. Okay, so let me move on to the next article or the next discussion, which is again it's the same, but it's a different. I wouldn't even call this an article, but this is a sort of the Bible for targeted individuals. Okay, this is called the Hidden Evil, and it's available in PDF form at pax uh, international.org. Okay, and this was written by Mark Rich, and this is the latest update from 2006. I don't think he did another update. He does have another website called, I think it's World War. ORG. See if I'm correct. Uh, oh, um, okay, let's do a Google search. Ah, New World War. Okay, so this is his latest website, and very informative. I would uh, highly recommend you guys check out his website. He's done a lot of research into our targeting and his targeting, and that's how I first found out about neurolinguistic programming, or dark NLP, because of Mark Rich. So, state-sponsored terror campaign, the hidden evil, the hidden evil. Okay, so let's run down through the table of content. Uh, so it says about people who participate, people who've been compromised, contractors, military, community, policing, and other local organizations. Goes through that's the structure. The tactics, investigations, surveillance, smear campaign, thefts and break-ins, framing, sabotage and vandalism, mail interference, pranks, blacklisting, collision and cutoff, blocking, swarming, and space invasion. And by space, we don't mean outer space beyond Earth atmosphere. We mean your personal space. Synchronization, which I talked about a lot. Convoy of vehicles, which I also talk about. Brighton. Noise campaign, I talk about online harassment, sensitivity program, harassment skits, direct to energy weapons. Why it is used. Revenge, whistleblowers, activists, dissidents, experimentation, and other reasons. And then it goes on. Objective of the group, symptoms a person may experience, results of organized vigilante stalking and mobbing, a profile of people who participate, why they remain. And what's important here, especially for me, is the profile of people who participate, because for as long as I've been a target, right? Um, within a couple of years, I've begun to profile the personalities of the people who participate in my targeting, including family members and those close to me. Okay, even though there are very few people. Okay, mobbing and organized stalking similarities in the case study and in the bibliography. So let's see. I wanted to read something here. Actually, and I think what really helped Mark, um, you know, recognize what was happening, and he said it himself. He said that I recognized the sensitivity tactics used by these groups from a neurolinguistic programming NLP seminar I took in my early 20s. This science is used to produce rapid change. Some of the sensitivity tactics used by these groups are borderline subliminal attacks designed to artificially create phobias using anchors. And again, this, when I found this out, I was like, holy crap, this is what's been happening to me. Okay. And from that moment, I was like, you know what? I need to do something. Okay. So I began doing what Mark Rich did, doing research. We all have to do research in order to fully understand the gravity of what's happened to us and what's being continuously done on a daily basis. Okay, um, so what is it? Organized stalking is a well organized occult form of covert harassment used against an individual. It is done by large groups of people who systematically and repeatedly harass individuals. The people who participate are usually under the impression that they need to keep an eye on a targeted person or drive them out of town for wrongdoings. It is it's it often encompasses the use of directed energy weapons. This is where the experimentation comes in, such as microwave harassment. This can be a for hire organized harassment service. These groups operate throughout North America and Europe and exhibit cult-like characteristics. Now, if you've been watching my video, I talk about the cult mentality of these groups. Okay, and this guy was talking about this in the early 2000s. As a matter of fact, it was Mark Rich and another person. I'm not sure if his website is still up, but it's something like jbhl.com. These two guys were the only people that I've read online who basically had a handle in terms of knowing exactly what was being done to them. Okay. Uh, this has also been called car stalking, gang stalking, community-based harassment, organized vigilante stalking, vengeance stalking, terrorist stalking, revenge stalking, covert action, state-sponsored harassment, microwave mind control, etc. All of these labels explain the same basic phenomenon. Okay, so when I refer to this type of state-sponsored harassment throughout this document, I will use these names interchangeably. Okay, so here's the interesting part too, which is very true. It says this crime appears to be a combination of early mind control and harassment programs such as COINTELPRO and MK Ultra, as well as gang stalking tactics used by the KKK. Right? The object is to create so much pain in the environment of the person that they are driven to homelessness or suicide. It is used to isolate and remove economical and social support structures and therefore destabilize a person's life with the intent to drive them to suicide. Basically, it's forever. They never leave you alone. You are followed out of the country and there's nowhere to get away from it. And I can attest to that because I've left the United States numerous times, go into different countries, and I was gang stalked and harassed there, as well as hit with directed energy weapons. Okay, so he says, although it would appear that this is a new phenomenon, it is not. Most tyrannical regimes throughout history have used local harassment groups to neutralize dissent. Gang stalking is simply another manifestation of this pattern. Although the strategies and tactics employed by these groups are somewhat new, the group exists to serve the same purpose. And it says, because most counseling center and therapists deny the existence that these groups, it is impossible to prove just how many cases of depression, anxiety, miscarriage, stillbirths, suicide, and people going postal are caused by them. This is further complicated since many people are unaware that they're a host to this type of parasite. And then it goes on to talk about Julian McKinney, who I found out about in 2003 as I was doing research, and I found a paper, a conference paper from her that was at a national security meeting. Okay, so Julian McKinney is a former Army intelligence officer and publisher of the widely respected report Microwave Harassment and Mind Control Experimentation. She is the former director of the Electronic Surveillance Project Association of National Security Alumni, which is an organization comprised of former intelligence officers dedicated to exposing excesses by the U.S. Intelligence Service. She kept this organization operational for 4 years using her personal fund. She has about 40 years experience with this subject and has talked with and interviewed hundreds of targeted individuals. And this is what she says. She says, the methods reportedly employed in these harassment campaigns bear a striking resemblance to those attributed to the CIA and FBI during the operations MK Ultra, MH Chaos, and Quantum Pro. The only difference now is that electronic harassment and experimentation also appear to be more blatantly involved, which is very true. Okay, so I'm not going to read this whole thing because I want to get to my videos, and I don't want to make this video too long. But you guys can check out this video. I will post it in the comment section of the video. If I forget, you have to please forgive me. The web address is right on top in the web address bar. So if I forget, you can always get the address from the video. Okay. Okay. So, psychologicalharassment.com, again, another important website you guys need to have, bookmark it, go back to it every now and then, and just reread it because it'll keep you informed, and you can see, and when you experience the street theater, you come back and read the stuff on here, you can definitely see the similarities, right? Okay. So covert type investigations. I've talked about this, and so for me, being heavily targeted by the NYPD, most of the time, and then when I expose them, they kind of take a step back, they cool out for a minute, and then they come back. So let me just get to the video because I like I said, I don't want to make this video too long. Okay, so last week, I believe this was last week. Let's see, last week Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, last week Wednesday. So last week Wednesday, took the kids home with me because it was 4th of July was Thursday, so this was the 3rd. And what they will do, and I've shown this from time to time, is that they will position themselves right by the car. Okay, just increase that, blow that up a little bit. You guys can get a better view. Okay, let's do this. All right. Okay, so they knew I was leaving, and so they positioned the perpetrators. They're all working in tandem. So you see these people here. They're selling ices, and they can't. They'll. This is a big block. Okay, so of all the places they can, put their carts, they put it right in front of the car. Now, had they move up a couple feet, there were a bunch of guys that was standing up about maybe 15 feet away, right? And there were kids playing up there, but they decided to park right in front of the car. And I'm going to show you the reason why. Again, this is a continuous harassment campaign. And remember, I talk about the fixation drill that they put me through every day with the this is a trigger warning. So if you're a TI, you're looking at this, you might want to skip past the section or not look at it. Let the video play, but don't look at it, and then you look at it after I mention, that okay, it's okay to look at it. So what they do is put me through a fixation drill using the palm of the hand, right? So usually, particularly with women, they will walk in front of me and they'll put their hands behind their back with their palm outwards. Then, when I started exposing them doing that, they would now mask it. So they will walk past me, the woman, and then they will flip their hair back behind their ears, exposing the palm of their hand. All right. And so what they recently start doing to me now is also they'll start put their palm of their hand up to their face as I drive by, as I walk by. So this is a fixation drill, all right? And what made it so effective is that they were using Pam to do this to me all the time. She would walk into the living room, turn around, put her hands behind her back with her palm opened up. Or she'll drop her hands to the side, and as she walk away, she'll turn her wrist to where her palm of her hands is facing me, right? Then they start doing it with my daughter. Okay, my daughter, um, and she was like 4 years old. She's 6 now. She was like 4 years old. They started doing it, and then my son Ethan, who is 10 now. So I realized again we were being heavily microwaved, and this is a continuous thing that they do. We're constantly being microwaved with the mind control technology. Because when they have my kids start targeting me in that manner, it's either they're being brainwashed at school, and that is a high possibility, okay, or we're being microwaved inside the home at that particular moment. So let's move on to the video. Oh, so recently also, because the situation with me and Pam, they've been using her a lot to target me. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So I came in. She comes in. No, I'm sorry. Sunday, brought the kids back. Came upstairs. Dropped them off. She opens the door. She turns around and walk away from me, and then she sticks her middle finger out as she was walking away. Okay. And then last night, I was talking to her on the phone, talking to the kids, saying goodnight, and she just abruptly hang up the phone on me. You know. So what they're doing is they're using her to do what is called. Let's see if I can remember the name. I want to say a hostile intent, but it's not that. Um, there's a video I was watching on narcissistic personalities, and these are things that the narcissist will do during a breakup. Okay, well, they will do things in a very abrupt manner to cut you off or to not let you finish speaking, and it's done purposely. So it's not like you're having an argument or a discussion and you want to interject your point. They do this because to upset you and to frustrate you. Okay, so this is what they've been using her to do lately, and And it's funny because she came in the house yesterday from work, and I was sitting down right here, and she came up to me and she puckered her lips like she wanted me to kiss her, but I kind of looked at her and I didn't pay it any mind. And because for whatever reason, they'll turn her on to me, and then they'll turn her off to me, right? And so, I wasn't in the mood for those games, and I'll show you guys what happened after that. Okay. All right. So this was last Wednesday. So we're leaving, going to the car. They put these perps there. So like I said, out of so then when I took my camera to start it recording, this guy here, he turns around and walk away because he wasn't there to buy the IC. It was just part of the street theater, and he didn't want to be caught on videotape, right? On video. So he turns around and he walks away, and that's why you see I point the phone in the direction that he was walking away from. Now you'll see this other guy here. He's wearing a blue shirt. As he's looking at him, it is too late. He sees me right here. He looks at me at this point, and then he walks off. Okay, bows his head, and so now I think I may have cropped this too much. So let's go back and let me. Okay, good. All right. So as I'm walking across the street, he puts his hands on his hip like that. With again, you see the fixation drill of the open palm. Okay, and he's standing again right where I can see him. Right, and so you see me standing there, and I just videotaped it. Right. So this is again what they do because they monitor you if you're a TI, a target individual. They monitor you, and so they know when you're leaving, and they will stage these things so that when you do leave your house or your apartment building, this is what you going to experience. Okay, and this is all purposely done. Okay, so got in the car, and we're now uh, heading uh, to my house. Okay, and I'm going to skip past some of this, so you'll have to excuse me as I may miss a couple things, but I'll try to uh, get as much as I can remember as much possible. So I think, let's see here, where's the next block? Um, okay, let's go here. And also, what you will notice in these videos is that you will see civilians, they're standing outside in front of their car or on the side of the car, but they will stand right if they're having a conversation in the street. Okay. Now, for me, when I'm double parking, I'm having a discussion with somebody. I don't. If I get out the car, I'm not standing in the street. I'm standing on the opposite side towards the sidewalk, away from the street because it's safer. But because again, these people don't really give a shit. They just want you to see them so that you can see when they're targeting you. Okay, so this is what's been happening lately. And again, when you study human behavior, these people do things that put their lives in danger and their children's lives in danger. And so it is the mentality, it is a cult like mentality, not a cult like, but it is a cult mentality, because when people are in cults, the idea of putting their lives in danger doesn't occur to them. Okay, they're just following, and you can see here again too. These guys stand up here. Because he's wearing red because he's using the red theme, and instead of him, you know, and where he's double park, you see there's a very little road left, and these yellow lines are not to be driven on, right? They're like a divider. So when you see that again, if a car has to pass by, it will have to drive onto the median in order to pass. Okay. So again, you got to think about this, right? So again, this is not normal human behavior, but it is becoming normalized because a lot of people now, more so than ever, have been uh, manipulated and compromised and engaged in these types of behavior. Okay, let's go. Okay, all right. So this is what they do. All right, as you can see, I'm driving down here, and what they also start doing is, you see how there's a woman standing at the bus stop? She has her hands on the side. This is a new hand signal that a lot of them have been doing to me lately, right? So as you see, as I'm approaching, this guy comes out of his car. He has a water bottle in his hand, and this is, they use the water bottle from time to time uh, to try to trigger whatever built-in anchor that I've been conditioned with. And as you can see, he was parked there, and I can go back on this video. Okay, I can go back. All right, but they'll wait in their vehicle as soon as you approach to get out of their car. You see, he's looking directly at me, and he's doing this. It is a little blurry, but okay, again, trigger one. So he's doing this, the folding of the lip. Okay, and one of the things they also like to do is they want to sometimes they get out their car to do that, and then they'll smile at you. Okay, and then you'll see again. You see this guy here sitting in the car. As I drive by, he starts kicking his feet. Again, these are all triggers, right? That's supposed to, uh, you know, this it's a trigger that has been attached to an anchor. So when they do certain things, the anchor might be a feeling or thought, right? So an emotional feeling or a thought that have been placed into your subconscious mind, and those actions act as trigger to bring forth that subconscious thought or that negative emotion and that negative thought to the forefront of your conscious mind. And you'll see these two girls, look how she just turns around and look, right? And then she turns back, and then the other one in front of her, she turns around and she looks at me. Okay, let's go to the next video. Okay. Okay, let's get past. All right, this is, I want to show this. Actually, I think I missed something here. So let's go back. Uh, maybe, okay. So, here you go. Oh, shoot. All right. So as I'm turning, you'll have these two perps there. This is me turning after I just show you the video of the two girls looking at me. It's the same video, but I kind of skipped this part. I forgot about it. So you'll see these two perps standing there. And there's a reason why I angle the phone when I have it on the phone mount, because sometimes, they'll do things on the side of me where I wouldn't be able to catch on video, but I'm looking at them. And so you see, as I drive by, he's going to turn and he's going to touch his nose. Okay? All right, so now let's get to the next video now, because you're going to see a repeat. Okay, so let's go right here. Okay, let's go back. So I pulled up on the intersection. If you look to the right, you'll see a perp, a civilian perp, and he looks in my direction and he puts his hands over his mouth. Okay, and then the woman walking, the young lady walking by, she bows her head. Then he does the hand signal of the hand behind the head. Another guy again wearing a red hat. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next video. So this was Thursday, 4th of July. Took the kids to see the new Spider-Man movie. And the end of the movie, there was a guy uh, who was standing down the aisle with his daughter. And his daughter, probably a young teenager, probably about 14, 15. And they both started targeting me. So I started recording them. And when I started recording them, they walked off. Right? See the little girl just walk off. Right? Out of view. So that's him right here. So you see, he started looking at his phone. He's looking over at me. And then he leaves. Okay? And I see another perp here. She's looking up at me. Okay? Now, after I did this video, I ended the video, and then the uh, security guard came into the theater. He came into the theater looked in my direction and walked off. But it happened so fast that I couldn't record it. But I knew that he was going to be outside, either outside in front of the theater or somewhere in the building, to where when I walk out, I will see him, because this is what they love to do. If I go to the mall, they will use the security guards in the mall to target me. If I'm leaving the mall, um, they will be at the entrance, at the exit that I to the parking lot, which I entered in, and I'm exiting out the same way. They will be right there, so I can see them. So you see him here, and again, just to show you guys that they know what it is that they're doing. Again, he's standing with his hands on his side, one of his hands on the side. That's the new hand signal that they started doing recently. And again, when things have been done repeated, that is a form of conditioning. And it's either I've already been conditioned to it, right? So that's acts as a trigger, or I'm being conditioned, and the trigger hasn't been. The anchor hasn't been embedded in my subconscious yet, but I'm always going to be aware of that, and therefore, try to uh, block what it is that they're doing. So you'll see him do now. He's going to fold his lips. See that? So he's going to do this. Okay. All right. That's okay. So like I said, no matter where you go as a TI, you're always going to be gang stalked and psychologically harassed. You're always going to be, surveilled, because again, this is what these people do. All right. And again, these are people within the religious communities who are heavily participating in this sort of uh, criminal acts. Okay. And so here I am in the parking lot. That I was talking to Bryce because he said I spoiled some part of the movie for him. So you see, as I turn, the family that's walking towards, as I'm turning, you see the guy again. He with his hands over his mouth. Okay. Okay. And now you'll see this lady who is standing out in front of the theater. Again, one of her arms is on her hips. Okay. So again, this is a new hand signal that they've been using. Okay. All right, so we're gonna just get past a lot of this stuff, and let's get to the next video. We're going to skip past, and I'm going to make this turn here. Let's go back a little bit. You see the guy that's walking. Let me adjust the color slightly, because video is kind of dark. All right, so let's go back now, very slightly. Let's forward. Okay, let's go back. You see this guy here sticking his hands in his ears. He's going to put his hand behind his head. The guy in the white shirt. See what they did here? Let's go back. Pinch his nose. The girl behind him, raise her hands, put it behind her head. The other guy now turns around and kick his feet out. Okay, watch. Actually, let's go back just a little bit more. As you'll see, he's going to also pinch his nose. So he moves into view. Okay, sticks his hands in his ears, pinch his nose, staring at his phone. Sticks his hands in his ear again, puts his hands behind his head. Guy in the white, pinch his nose. At this point, she puts her hands behind her head. Okay, he kicks his feet out. You remember, I tell you guys that when I'm being heavily targeted out in public in such a manner, the NYPD will show up afterwards. Now watch this. Watch as I make the turn. So he walks off, okay, because he knows the NYPD vehicle is coming. Okay, and if you look to the left, who do you see? All right, and he just runs through the red light with the NYPD vehicle. Okay, so they're very crafty in how they're targeting me because, again, they try to not make it so obvious, but it is obvious to me because, you know, I've studied uh, this program and what they've been doing to me and continue to do to me. And so, uh, you know, you kind of become an expert in their tactics, right? So you kind of know what to expect. You know what I'm saying, and this is why I'm explaining to you guys so you guys can know and understand. Okay, all right. So let's go to the next video. I'm trying to make this as quick as possible. Okay, gotta adjust the color here again. Uh, okay, all right. Okay, so let's go. I gotta mute this because I was talking to my son. um, oh, two. Okay. Okay. Now watch the woman in the green dress cross here. She's looking at this vehicle, and then she's going to pinch her nose. So what she's doing is what is called the power of association. So I talk about the use of color. All right. So what they also do with pinching their nose, if it's not when a police car is about to come, uh, if it's a gray vehicle, a vehicle that have the color gray, then they will also pinch their nose. Okay. So you have to ask yourself also, why is she standing out here? This is a park that I take my kids at. Why is she standing out here? She has her child. I'm assuming it's her child with her, and you would think that she would be in the park with her child because there's nobody else standing out here. Okay, everybody with kids, they're inside the park, but she's standing out here, and there's a reason. Because again, she's a gang stalker. She's a you know, a compromised civilian who engage in psychological warfare, psychological harassment. Okay, All right. So like I said, there may be other things that I may miss, but just to not make the video so long, I'm just going to skip past some of these things. Okay. So all right. So that was uh, Thursday. So now skip 2 days later to Saturday. I had went out because I had to go to a restaurant to get something, and I stopped by uh, this food market because I had to get some things to cook. So got back in the car. Then all of a sudden, the homeless guy. So this is what they do. This is using the homeless theme. Okay. So I didn't pay him any mind, and I'm driving all the way, and so he's going to now walk away. Okay. And of course, you'll see. Remember, they do the hand signal, right? So let me again show you. And this is, I mean, now they're surveilling me in such a real time that no matter where I go, because they know where I'm going because of the remote neural monitoring, right? So they already know where I'm going. So they are very expedient because again, they have once you leave your house, they have perpetrators all over the place. So no matter where you go, because they know your habits, they study you, so they know where you're gonna go. All right. So now you'll see he goes walks in front of the car. Okay. And again, you'll see the index finger pointing down, and what I talked about before, my target and what that represents, and then he's going to pull it back up. All right, and then you see here the thumb. Okay, now as I turn to get him, you'll see he walks away. Okay, and there you go again. Let's go back. You see as I drive by. Again, the hands behind the head. The woman next to him is going to fold her lips. So once I leave the house, everybody is on alert. All right, they know I left the house, so doesn't matter where I go, there will be perps, civilian perpetrators who are going to engage in uh, the harassment. Okay, next video. All right, so here I am. This was Sunday afternoon, taking the kids back uh, to their mother. Okay, so I want to get to this part right. All right. So again, there've been a lot of uh, bikes, uh, bikers who are being hit by vehicles, right? And one of the things that they'll do now is that they'll start placing a lot of bikers in my path. Okay, because they when they see a trend, whether it be negative, okay, they'll adopt that trend and include it in your targeting. Right. So there's been a lot of uh, bicyclists who have been hit and killed, right, while riding their bike. So you see this guy on this bike, he's looking back at me, and now he's gonna act as if he's gonna ride off in front of me. Okay, but this is just a way to get me to notice him. All right, and then you'll see here uh, where his you see where he turns his the handle. It's not outwards to the street as if he was going to drive. I'm going to ride off, but if matter of fact, in the opposite direction. And then you'll see this woman here with the fixation drill of the palm of the hand. Okay, let's go through that again. All right, now watch her. See where her hands is again. Hands on her side. Okay, and as she brings it up, she opens up the palm of her hand. Okay, here you go again. Now you see what he does here. He takes his hands and he again with the palm towards his face, put it up to his face, and he's gonna leave it there. So they will always employ new tactics, new method to their targeting, because if something doesn't work, they'll adapt something new or they'll add something new. Okay. All right. Um, okay. Let's go to the next video. Um, okay. I think to this part. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So you see a guy is going to be walking towards me. Okay. You see he's swinging his arm, but the thing is that he's swinging his arm with his palm facing towards me, not to the side or not outward or anything like that, but facing me. Right now, as I approach him, he's going to stick his hands out. See here, palm of his hand facing towards me. Okay, parking. Took the kids upstairs, and this is when I told you guys in the beginning of the video, when I got upstairs and Pam opened the door, she turned around, walked away, and she stuck her arm out with her middle finger uh, out, right? And so, at that point, I just I stayed for like 2 minutes, and then I left. And the funny thing is that as I was leaving, she followed behind me, and so I was like, kind of, I kind of wanted to turn back, but I was like, you know what, this is something that they probably want to happen, so I'm not going to engage. And I just walked out and I left and got downstairs. And so here you'll see me leaving. And also lately, they've been targeting me with a lot of Hispanic women. Um, Friday, I took the kids to the Museum of Natural History, and there were a lot of Hispanic women, either coming to the side of me, looking at me, or like I'm supposed to. I guess they wanted me to talk to them, because the way how they do things, and they would come on the side of me, and then you have these Caucasian men, that would stick their fingers in their ears. And so, but we had a great time. Got to the train station to leave. There were two police officers standing there, and I'm like, but of course, because I was leaving, there are always going to be police officers, especially if I go to a museum or somewhere, because again, they have to show their person to let me know that they're personally involved in my targeting, right? And so, I couldn't record them because, of course, I'm at the train station. I have my two kids, so I need to pay more attention to them than these criminal, you know, in badges and in uniform with badges, right? That's what they are. And so we went downstairs to take the train back down to Brooklyn. Uh, as I sat down, we sat down. Of course, you have the civilian person walking by targeting me. There was this one particular lady, and she went back the opposite direction, and I guess she must have told the cops something, whatever. So they came downstairs now, walked past me, staring at me, and I was like, hey, if you guys want to do something, just do it. You can stay all you want. Okay. So you'll see here you'll see this girl here. She's a red. She her color her hair is like autumn. It's not quite red. It's like a brownish red. So you'll see her now. You see her raise her hands to brush her hair. Okay. Okay. So now she's turned towards me now, and she starts playing with her hair. Okay. And look, as you can see here, uh, let's go back slightly here. Okay. Now watch as I drive by. You see how she turns her hand so that um, the palm of her hand is showing. So you see, all of a sudden, her hands is down. And again, you'll see how they try to uh, mask their target. And so you see her hands. You see that one finger that's sticking up. It's not sticking up all the way now, because again, you know, just in case I catch them on video, they want to make it look so obvious. But it is her middle finger, but it's not sticking up all the way, right? It's just the um, that first joint, right? So if you take your middle finger and you kind of bend it inwards, right? That first uh, joint area, that's what's sticking out. It's again, they tried to mask, give me the finger, and then you'll see she raised it up. Now she turns her hands to where I can now see the palm of her hands. Uh, and again, the camera didn't pick it up because of the angle of the phone. So kind of missed that part. But this is what they do. They're very crafty. They love to mask their harassment. But when you actually study what they do, and you kind of become an expert of what they do, right? Okay, so we got to the corner, intersection. Now you'll see they start what they start doing, particularly on this corner that I turned to go home. Now they have these, these, I guess these prayer, whatever you call them. They'll stop you and they'll pray with you and stuff like that. And again, when you talk about religious cult, you know, involving this stuff, this is what these people are doing an engagement with. Then on top of that, you have all these guys here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all walking in the street. There's a sidewalk, but they're all walking in the street, right? And there's a reason for that. And you see how, again, the guy, he's wearing the black. He keeps opening his arm and closing it, because again, this is another hand signal that they will use where if I'm walking, if I'm driving, they will hold their hands together because it creates like a V shape, right? So this is what they do. And then you see the guy, as he in the red, he raises his hands with his keys. Okay, and then the last guy behind him, he raised his hands up so I can see the palm of his hand. See that? And then the guy now in the black in front of him puts his hands with his palm facing backwards again. So, they can mask it all they want, but I'm showing you guys that this is what they're doing, right? Okay. Now, again, you'll see police vehicle. Okay, lights flashing. If you notice, this woman, she's leaning up on her vehicle. Okay, with her back turned towards me. So now, if you look at the vehicle next to her, it's a brown color vehicle. Okay, and let's see if I can get a better picture of the license plate, because the license plate have the number 32 in it. Okay, um, let's see what I can do. Um, I don't know if I can zoom it up. Okay, let's see here. Let's go back slightly. Let's see here. Too much. Okay. I just want to zoom this up so you guys can get a better picture of what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you go here, let's see if you can see the license plate. Oh, can't really quite get it. But anyway, the number 32 is in the license plate. So there's a reason why the cop is stopped there, and the woman is leaning up behind her vehicle, and she was actually on her phone, okay, with her back turned towards me. So this is what they do, right? And I talked about this, how there are times when they'll send a woman around me with like big butts. You know what I'm saying? They have like big asses, you know, and it is their attempting again the association, the power of association, that type of thing. And so they're very crafty, but again, you know, I'm well aware of their tactics. Okay, so you see, like I said, when they do these things, there'll always be a police vehicle, you know, nearby, just to let me know that it's them. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Um, let's go back slightly. Let's go back. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the next video. All right. So here you see an ambulance. Okay. Now, if you're a TI, a lot of times this stuff is all street theater. This stuff is all, you know, orchestrated. Again, you'll see her walk off and how they try to mask the palm fixation drill. Okay, so she has an approach. All right, now she gets out, turns around, looks at me, and then as she walks off, you see that right here. But again, you know, they try to make it as natural as possible to try to, uh, again, mask their targeting. So the reason why her hands was on top of the door the way it was, because she's been trained to do it that way to make it not obvious that the fixation drill with the palm is not what they're trying to do to me, right? But that's exactly what it is. Okay, so here's the thing: she gets out of the vehicle, okay, to turn to walk off and turn and walk down the same direction that this vehicle is going to be going in, right? Okay, let's go to the next video. Okay, this is Monday, yesterday, heading over to Pam. Um, let's see here. Again, sticks his fingers in his ear. All right. Again, you'll see how they try to mask their targeting. If you look at the hand signal, he makes his hand like a gun. Okay, she's like she's putting on a book bag or something. That's all targeted. We try to be slick about it. You see this guy put his hands over his mouth in the yellow shirt. Okay. So last night, I know, it looks sunny, but it was actually around 7:30. I left Pam uh, on my way home. Got outside. You see the police vehicle at the end of the block, lights flashing. Got the perp walking up, you know, trying to do these little hand signal, looking down at his feet. All right. All right. Got in the car. All right. So you see the woman now with the dog. She looks at me. She's, all right. So now they're gonna start to use dogs in my targeting. Just be patient. You guys are gonna see. Okay. Wait. Uh, Hold up. Okay. You'll see again. Woman standing, hands behind her back, palm facing outwards. Okay, let's go back slightly. All right. So the woman in the blue, in black pants, covering her mouth with her hands. So again, you'll see these perps, instead of standing on the sidewalk where it's safer, they will stand in the street to have a conversation. And then they'll look at me as I'm driving by. Okay. And here you go again. Standing. in the street now. So they're much safer on the sidewalk, but they want to be seen. They want me to see them. And then as soon as I made the turn, guess who shows up? Right? But the fire truck. Okay, now check this. Light change. You'll see this little young woman here. I'm assuming she's a young woman. She's going to go into the store. You'll see this Hasidic Jew comes out of the store. He pinches his nose. Okay, and then he's going to, you know, um, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the proper terminology? But he's going to do this, right? And from time to time, they do this to me, but I never catch it. But I'm glad I caught it. Kind of like when you like you say, "Hey, I'm done with somebody," hey, that sort of thing. So this is what they do, right? And then you'll see he'll. Let's go back here because I want to uh, pause it. Okay, right? And so you see this woman here now. She bows her head after she looks at me. This is the sort of thing that they do, right? You got another civilian perp. And again, see, this is what I'm talking about, right? See how they put themselves and their children in harm's way, right? So she has this little girl, she's speaking to somebody in the car, in the street. Not, she could have just simply go where it's safer on the other side, okay? Because you never know who's driving, or you never know what might happen of a vehicle. Something might happen within the vehicle that causes it to go out of control, you know. But this is what they do. They don't think. The common sense when it comes to these perpetrators, they have no common sense. Okay, it's all about targeting you and to make sure that you're being targeted. Okay, and then you'll see here. Let's go because I want to pause it as I drive by. I want you to look at the little girl, and then you'll see her as she, because they both looking now. She's looking, and she's training her exactly because she turned her towards me, and the little girl moved her hands, and I talk about them using my daughter to do the palm fixation drill, and that's exactly what's happened here with this little girl. Okay, and now you see she goes and she shakes the person hands that's in the car. Right. So now here you'll see uh, something happen up here, because this is a, you see the lights flashing, police vehicle. So again, and this is the, when I left Pam's house, you'll see when I showed you guys the police vehicle down the block, lights flashing. Got almost to my block, you see these uh, police vehicle here, and I was like, oh, I expected it somewhat, you know, because they always gotta follow through with some sort of targeting. Okay, let's just best believe that this is all orchestrated. Okay, kind of my black. As soon as I pulled up, they start to raise their phone, look at it. Okay, now he sticks his hands in his ear, the one that's closer to me. That's what he's doing. So he's shaking his hands, his fingers in his ear. They both go back to looking at their phone. Sorry, it never fails, but like I said, my job is to expose everything that they're doing. All right. Okay. So uh, this is this morning, the night before, which you guys just saw, as I made that turn and see the woman with the dog. So came out my apartment building, went across the street because I was parked across the street, and who's standing up right next to the car? But two perps, of course. So I gotta get them on video as they're there talking about their dogs. Okay, she walks off. Because again, so a lot of them don't want to be on video because they know I do record them. So a lot of them don't want to be on video. Okay. All right. Now, okay. So like I said, you'll see them stand up in the street because they vying for your attention. So they'll stand there doing hand signals. See, she sticks her hands in her ears. Okay, let's go back. There you go. There you go again. Okay, you'll see as she sees me, she sticks her hands in her ears. Then she turns and she looks at this building here. Now, you know, So, I mean, only thing I think of reason why she's looking at this building again is the color of the, you know, the mesh, what have you, is like a reddish orange, because you know they synthesize you the colors if you're a targeted individual. All right, so now we get to this intersection here, and see this woman. She starts, you know, she just look at her hands. Her hands all over the place. Okay, trying to mask the target, and with the hand behind the head, then she covers her mouth. All right, then across the street now, the other woman here, she puts both her hand on her hips. Again, these are hand signal, and they're looking at each other now. Okay, they're looking at each other, right? So it may be playing good cop, bad cop. She, the one in the blue pants, you know, she see that she bows her head as she steps onto the street right there. To bow her head, and again, that hands to the side hand signal. And then she does it. So they've been doing that a lot lately. Okay. Okay. Now, do you want to see and hear how predictable these people are? Okay. I'm just gonna let this video play by itself. Okay. Now, we're both shaking our keys because again, I know what it is he's doing, and I'm doing the same thing back to him. Now, you heard when I came in the elevator. In the elevator, I asked him. I said, "How was your day?" He didn't answer because he has to be the one to initiate the conversation because that's how it works. That's how they do conversational subliminal messages. Okay, so he has to stick to a certain script, and that's what you hear. He's talking about. I was lucky to get parking, right? Why would I be lucky? I've gotten parking on the block plenty times. He stands out there with the other uh, civilian perpetrators who engage in targeting me. I got into the elevator with him plenty of times. She never said that to me before. So why all of a sudden now I'm lucky? Okay, so let's go back and you see here how he starts touching his, and he was doing this, you know, when we got in the elevator. But the I guess I didn't hold the phone at an angle where you can see when he started doing it, because as soon as we got in the elevator, he started doing that. Okay. Okay, let's go back here. Let's go back. So at this point, I ask him how's his day. Okay. He starts shaking his keys, and then he starts touching his mustache, right? And now I'm lucky. So now he's telling me about how he came in around 6 and he got 1. Okay. These are all conversational subliminal messages that I don't really pay any attention to it because it doesn't mean anything. I know they love to play with numbers. This is something that they have always done, and whatever anchor they or whatever, those are whatever, those are triggers. So whatever anchor, I'm able to not associate these things with anything negative. Okay, this is classic perp behavior and how they target TIs, and we have to understand what's being done and explain it so that other people can understand what's being done. Right? So it would no longer be hidden. It would no longer be secretive. You have to take it out of the realm of psychological, because that's how they get away with it, right? So you have to show proof, and you have to know what you're talking about. And this is what I do. What I do. Okay, so that's it for the video, and I will speak to you guys on the next one.